Welcome to Deadline Day on Sky Sports News. We're into the final 6 hours on what's been the busiest day of this window so far.
Good evening. 11 Premier League clubs have made a signing in this transfer window. Time is running out for the other 9 to do just the same.
Welcome along. Joining us for reaction and analysis, a woman with 140 caps for England and a man with 106 Premier League goals. A very warm welcome to Alex Scott and Darren Benton. They are with us for the next 2 hours. And in this lovely warm studio is exactly where you want to be. It is freezing out there across the country. We're expecting snow here in London in the next couple of hours, but that will not stop, I assure you, our team of intrepid reporters.
I'm at Stamford Bridge, where Michy Batshuayi has just 6 hours to decide where he plays next.
And I'm at Newcastle, where they have smashed their 14-year transfer record by buying Paraguay international Miguel Almiron for £21 million.
Hello, I'm James Cooper at Old Trafford, where a Belgian said goodbye after 5.5 years and a Frenchman said 5 more years, please.
I'm at the Emirates, where it's hola to Denis Suarez. He finally comes on loan from Barcelona for the rest of the season.
I'm Alan Myers. I'm at Burnley, where Peter Crouch is in the building. Sam Vokes has gone to Stoke.
Well, we had an hola, we had everything there, didn't we? It's a very continental feel tonight. Newcastle have completed 2 deals today and includes a club record signing. Let's reveal Keith Downey here. Bring us more on these deals, Keith.
Yeah, it's the big one. It's the big one the Newcastle United supporters have waited for some 14 years, as I alluded to a moment ago. The signing, the record-breaking signing of Miguel Almiron, the Paraguay international, who arrived on Tyneside via helicopter yesterday afternoon, started his medical last night, finished that this morning, finalised the paperwork here at the training ground, and then was announced as a Newcastle United player at 2:30 this afternoon. That eclipses the £16.8 million paid for Michael Owen way back in 2005. The Newcastle United fans have been desperate to break their transfer record. They finally have done it. £21 million is my understanding of the price tag around the neck of Almiron. I caught up with him a little bit earlier on this afternoon, and this is his first words after signing for Newcastle.
Well, it happened really quick. I'm really happy to be here. I'm very anxious to get going.
Newcastle have wanted you, Rafa Benitez has wanted you for the entire transfer window. Were you worried at any stage that it might not happen, it was getting too late?
I wasn't thinking about a lot. I'm just, again, really happy and honoured that Rafa Benitez and the club wanted me at the first place.
How does it feel to be Newcastle's record signing? Michael Owen, 14 years ago, was the last signing. Now it's you. How good does that feel?
Very happy to be here. I just want to work together with the manager, and I don't really think about the numbers. It's not my thing.
He mentioned the manager, Rafa Benitez, there. He's the man Benitez has wanted all transfer window long, and he's finally got his man on deadline day. Some may say a little bit risky. He's never played football in Europe before, but speaking to people who have played against him and watched him in the MLS, he's a tricky number 10, very fast. He even admitted that in his interview there. So he's hoping to hit the heights in the Premier League once he starts quickly. He won't feature against Tottenham Hotspur on Saturday, a match you can see live on Sky Sports in the lunchtime kickoff. As he picks up his work permit. He won't make that one. But Newcastle, as well as bringing in Almiron, have been busy elsewhere as well. Antonio Barreca, the Italian left-back, has arrived from Monaco on loan until the end of the season. They've paid a £1 million loan fee to see him stay until the summer, with an option to buy him for £9 million, I understand, at the end of the season. So that's 2 in for Newcastle. A couple on their way out. I can tell you that Jacob Murphy is currently at Championship side West Brom, having a medical there ahead of a loan move until the end of the season. And Ashraf Lazar and Rolando Aarons are currently at Sheffield Wednesday, at Hillsborough as well, completing loan moves there. But it's the big one for Newcastle. As I say, the one the supporters have been craving for, the one Rafa Benitez has been wanting for a long time. It's Miguel Almiron. Not many people have heard of him here in the UK. Rafa Benitez will be hoping they will do once he hits the ground running here at Newcastle. £21 million, the biggest transfer of the day, and it's here at Newcastle United.
Brilliant. Thanks ever so much, Keith. So big news coming out of Newcastle tonight. What about the future of Chelsea striker Michy Batshuayi then? Could he be heading to Everton? Fraser Dayton can tell us more on this one. What have you got for us, Fraser?
Yeah, Sky sources telling me not long ago that Everton will not be signing Michy Batshuayi. Now, of course, the preferred option, according to what we heard from Sky sources telling us about Chelsea's end of the possible deal, was that Everton was the preferred option as far as the club were concerned. They'd also apparently agreed in principle loan deals with West Ham and also Real Betis. But as I say, sources now telling me they have no interest, Everton, in signing Michy Batshuayi. So that will not be happening. They've also dug their heels in, of course, as we've been hearing through the day, on Idrissa Gueye, the midfielder, not going to be moving anywhere as far as that's concerned, despite all the interest from PSG. But a couple of players do look like they're going to be on their way out of Everton for the time being, with Yannick Bolasie finalising a move to Anderlecht, and also Cuco Martina, who we understand is going to be going to Feyenoord, with a view to that one being a permanent deal. But it's only outgoings at Everton at the moment.
OK, thanks, Fraser. So, if Michy Batshuayi isn't going to Everton, where's he going to end up? Let's get the Chelsea end with Kaveh Solokul in a chilly London tonight. What can you tell us?
Yes, Chelsea are looking for a club to take Michy Batshuayi on loan. They had deals agreed in principle with West Ham and also Real Betis, but I've been told that one of the major sticking points is the wages that Michy Batshuayi's representatives are asking for his player. Those wages are £160,000 a week. £160,000 a week for a player who, you've got to say, hasn't really been in great goal-scoring form while he's been out on loan at Valencia. But Chelsea trying to work hard, trying to find a club that'll take him on loan. Otherwise, he'll probably have to stay on loan at Valencia, and Valencia don't want to prolong that loan until the summer. Other transfer lines to bring you from Chelsea regarding Willian. Well, we know that PSG were interested in signing him, but Chelsea standing firm, saying he's not for sale, and I don't think PSG, with all their money, would be able to afford him in any case when you factor in all the financial fair play rules that they have to take into account. One final line to bring you from Chelsea regarding club captain Gary Cahill, a man who's had so much success here but hasn't been playing regularly this season. He's turned down a move to Fulham. We also understand that this month he's turned down moves to Monaco and Italian champions Juventus.
Thanks, Kaveh.
Right, let's bring in our guests for the first time this hour. Alex, Darren, good to have you with us. Let's start with Batshuayi now. It's not really happened, Alex, for him at Chelsea. He's been out on loan a couple of clubs and he's come back and it hasn't worked out from there either. Would he still be a good signing if someone can get it done before the deadline?
I think so. I'm thinking West Ham, because when you look at the injury to Arnautovic, he could potentially slot straight in there. They need that striker, and I think that would actually be a good partnership, I suppose, with Nasri coming in. So you've got a player in there that can actually feed in those balls to get him on the score sheet. And actually, I think staying in the Prem, scoring goals for West Ham, actually might make Chelsea then have a look at him going forward.
Yeah, and Alex mentions West Ham, and Everton, Darren, have been linked with him in this window. We've heard there from Fraser they're not keen on him, or they're not going in for him anyway. Are you surprised that, given they seem to need a striker, or are there maybe 160,000 reasons why they're not keen on him?
Yeah, obviously financially it doesn't make sense. 160, a club like Everton can't pay them kind of wages, and it's ludicrous for him to be asking for them kind of wages from a club like Everton. So I agree with Alex. I think West Ham would probably be the perfect fit for him. I mean, I would have liked him to have stayed at Chelsea. I mean, personally, I feel he's better than Giroud and Morata. I feel, given a run of games, what I've seen him with him playing for Valencia, when he gets opportunities, he scores. Quite like his movement, he's always on the shoulder, he's always alive. I don't think you've been getting that from Morata or from Giroud, but obviously they've signed Higuain now, so he's going to have to play that backup role again. So for me, as Alex said, probably West Ham, because I believe that with the direction their club's going in as well, with Felipe Addison playing really well and Arnautovic, I think he could slot straight in.
The good news, I guess, for Everton is that it looks like they're going to hold on to Idrissa Gueye, despite the advances from PSG. How important is it in these windows to keep older players.
That's huge news for Silva and for the fans as well, because he's so integral to that midfield. What he does, he drives that team forward. But then my concern is because then potentially he was pushing for that move away. So then how now do you work with him till the end of the season? It actually reminds me of being here last year with the Mahrez situation. Will he go during January or will he stay? But then actually what Mahrez did, he got his head down, he performed well, and I suppose that's what Idrissa Gueye needs to do now as well.
Yeah, I mean, how is that, you know, when players do sort of put their head above the parapet and say, look, I want to go, and then a bit like Arnautovic has done. I mean, I know he's got injured as well. You know, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it, by saying, actually, I want to go, and then staying.
Yeah, it's tough because automatically the fans are now looking at you a bit closer to say, is he going to throw the towel in? Is he going to perform? And as you said, Mahrez did it last season. Hazard got linked with Real Madrid, came back early part of the season, arguably the best player in the country. So I think that's what Idrissa Gueye has to do, come back, play really well, and I think he will do that. I mean, it doesn't make sense for the club to let him go now because they've not got long to replace him. No. So they've got to hold him to their best players, and for me, he's definitely one of them, so I won't let him go anywhere. And I think he'll understand that.
It might come down to the communication as well between the player and the club. Like, OK, we're not going to let you go here, but get your head down, work hard, and then we'll revisit it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Miguel Almiron then. Club record for Newcastle. It's only taken 14 years to break the one for Michael Owen. Combine that, Darren, with that incredible result 2 nights ago against Manchester City. Has the doom and gloom around St James's Park been lifted?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm a bit unsure on this one, though. I mean, it's a lot of money for someone, as you say, who's untested, never played in Europe. I mean, I was having a conversation earlier when I seen it come up about how much they paid for him, and I wondered if they'd be better suited again for maybe a strike out of the Championship. He was on fire because he obviously plays English football, knows the league, knows the culture in this country. So for them to pay that much money for a guy coming out the MLS was not as competitive as the Premier League. It was a tricky one, but as you said, with the result the other day, the Newcastle fans are going to be ecstatic. I mean, I think Michael Owen was around the 8 million mark. That's not a lot of money considering, obviously, today's game. So for the Newcastle fans, it's positive. And building on the result the other night, this is fantastic news for them.
Yeah, Alex, I just want to touch on the fact that he's come from the MLS. Do you feel that that's growing, you know, and it's a good place for Premier League teams to go to for players?
Yeah, when you look at, I suppose, the big signing that Chelsea have made, who originally started in the MLS as well, it will be a big test, but I actually look at it, because when I've watched the Newcastle games, I do feel Rondon at times has been very isolated. So Benitez has obviously watched him and see that he can be that link player, either working off him that can create assists for him or create an assist for Rondon. So I do think it will transform, I suppose, Newcastle looking forward, because they are in that cluster. They're not safe yet, so they do need to still push on.
Well, let's go now to a club very close to Alex's heart, which is Arsenal, of course. We know they've confirmed the signing today of Denis Suarez from Barcelona. We also know, Geraint Hughes, there he is at the Emirates, that they have been keen on other players in this transfer window. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I got a little bit of news for you. Not with Denis Suarez, we'll come to him in a moment, but a player who's leaving Arsenal, but only just for the time being, going out on loan. Emile Smith-Rowe, not officially done yet. There's still a few things to sort out, but it's going to be a positive outcome. People may be wondering, I've been telling you for a good few hours, 5 o'clock this deal had to be done by, because the window closes in Germany at 6 p.m. It's going to be fine, absolutely fine. Positive outcome on this one. He is going to go for the rest of the season to RB Leipzig, playing there. The reason why, it's not because Arsenal don't want him at all. They really, really rate this teenager. They want him to get some playing time, get some experience under the belt. So he's going to be off to the Bundesliga to play in Germany. Hopefully we'll get official confirmation soon, but it's a positive outcome on that one. As far as Denis Suarez is concerned, well, he's already been settling in at Arsenal. He's been at the training ground, going through his paces there. They've been having a good look at him. 25-year-old attacking midfielder. Unai Emery knows him well. The two joined forces at Sevilla, four years ago, 2014, 2015. So Emery knows what he's getting. Suarez knows who he's going to be working with as well. The two seem to get on. So it seems to be a good fit on the attacking front. They've got this player in. A couple of other things that didn't really materialise today. I'm never going to Ivan Perisic and Yannick Carrasco as well. Those deals never going to happen today, and they haven't. So it looks like just one in, one out at Arsenal today.
OK, great stuff, Geraint. Thank you very much indeed.
OK, Alex, we'll start with you then on this. Emile Smith-Rowe, what do you make of this? Is this disappointing, do you feel? You know?
No, I don't think it's disappointing. I think they're looking at it long term. Here's a player that is very promising. He's talented, but he needs minutes, and he can't get that right now at Arsenal. And I think he's in that stage where, yes, he is kind of ready to be around the first team and get those minutes, but then he gets frustrated when he goes and plays back in the under-23s. So it's that player, when they're in that part, it's frustrating frustrating at times. So, OK, let him go out on loan, gain those vulnerable minutes, the valuable minutes, should I say, that he needs, and then bring him back to Arsenal.
And will that happen, do you think? You know, or are we losing some talent? You know, Chelsea potentially almost lost Callum Hudson-Odoi, and I know that was somebody that you really wanted for them to keep. So do you think that's, you know, that's happening? We're losing these young talented players at times.
And I think young players are looking at it and now looking that, OK, they can stay around and lose those minutes, or actually they can go out and get that experience and then maybe come back. I think we're in a different generation where young players now, they want to play. They don't want to lose those years where they can see they can actually be developing by getting minutes on the pitch.
So the man they've brought in, Darren, is Denis Suarez on loan from Barcelona, former Manchester City man. Of course, he's a midfielder, a wide player. Is this the area Arsenal needed to strengthen?
No, not for me. I mean, not for me. The back line. The back line's been the problem for years, for a long, long time now. And obviously with the big injury to Koscielny, like with his draw and stuff, I would like to see them strengthen there. I think they've strengthened an area where they can add additions to it, but I feel they're quite strong in them areas anyway. So for me, I would have started back to front, because anyone who's watching Arsenal nowadays always feels a bit vulnerable defensively. It's not how many they're going to score, it's how many they're going to concede. So for me, it would have been maybe the back line, somewhere along the back line, maybe another centre-half, something like that.
I mean, they've been linked with Perisic, you know, a big name. We saw him at the World Cup, had a great World Cup, and that would have been some statement, wouldn't it, if they could have brought him in, but it sounds like the hopes of that are fading.
Yeah, for me at the moment with Arsenal, it feels like they're going to need to outscore teams to win games. They don't strike me as a team that could go and win 1-0 and shut up shop. They just can't do that for me. For me, they need to go and score 2-3, 3-2, 4-2 to win games, and it shouldn't really be like that.
And let's find a word to you on this, Alex. Arsenal found themselves back in the top four last night thanks to Chelsea's heavy defeat. Did you feel that maybe a couple of signings this window on top of Suarez would have been a statement they needed to make to really prove they're serious about getting back into the Champions League contention?
Yeah, it would have been good for the fans, brought some excitement back. But actually, when you look at it long term, the players that potentially he may want to bring in, I look at it actually like what Klopp did at Liverpool. That first season, he went in, he could assess who he was working with, who he needs to get out, who he needs to bring in. And I feel that's what Emery's doing at the moment. And when you're looking at bringing in Suarez, maybe you're looking at it that he might change formation, go to a 4-3-3, because he keeps talking about he wants wingers in. So that's the only reason why I can say that maybe he's looking at bringing in wingers.
And actually, it sounds like, you know, with the financial constraints on him in this window, he had his hands tied behind his back anyway, Darren. Loan deals only, and that they can be hard to get over the line.
They are difficult, and there's not a lot of time left either. It's difficult, but Arsenal squad's strong. I mean, it's a lot stronger than people think. I think the Suarez, as you said, brings excitement back, and it's going to be an exciting end to the season for Arsenal. If they can stay where they are in and around it, listen, it's a fantastic season, and I think next season they're building it again, and they'll be even stronger.
OK, stay with us. Plenty more from you too.
Sure, come on, not sure. If you have a pair of socks, I have both. It's freezing cold, and these are just summer socks. But you know, for you in Great Britain, I do everything.
I shot you down, bang, bang. You hit the ground, bang, bang. That awful sound, bang, bang. I used to shoot you down.
Wasps are your Vitality Netball Super League champions.
Britain's got a new golfing star, Georgia Hall, major champion.
Music played and people sang. Just for me, the church bells rang.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Katie Taylor!
Bang, bang. He shot me down, bang, bang. I hit the ground, bang, bang. That awful sound, bang, bang. My baby shot me down. Shot me down. Shot me down, 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 down.
are your Vitality Netball Super League champions.
Britain's got a new golfing star, Georgia Hall, major champion.
Music played and people sang, just for me the church bells rang.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Katie Taylor!
Bang, bang, he shot me down, bang, bang. I hit the ground, bang, bang. That awful sound, bang, bang. My baby shot me down.
Let's talk Manchester United now. No deadline day deals for them so far today. However, what they have done is tied down one of their forwards to a new long-term contract. That player is Anthony Martial. He's got a new deal to keep him at the club until 2024. Manchester United fans, this is where you get involved. We want your thoughts on this because we're asking you now on Twitter, is Martial's new deal signed today actually better business for Manchester United than going out and bringing in a new signing on deadline day? Tying down a player they know what he's all about, is that actually better business than going out and bringing in someone maybe they don't know as much about? Get involved now. We're just launching this poll. It's a flash poll. It's only open for 5 minutes or so. At Sky Sports News on Twitter. Get voting and you'll see the percentages change very shortly. We'll be back there in about 5 minutes to show you how you have been voting. But that is a statement of intent, certainly for Manchester United, because Martial was apparently attracting some interest from other clubs in Europe, but he's staying at Manchester United till 2024. Should we head to Old Trafford now? James Cooper is there for us. James, I wonder how you see this poll going we've just launched. Is this new deal for United actually better than a new signing for them?
Well, I think you've spelled out the credentials there. I think, yeah, Manchester United know all about Anthony Martial, bearing in mind when they signed him back in 2015, you know, they spent an awful lot of money on him, making him the world's most expensive teenage footballer in a deal that would have been worth around £50 million. So you think that his value's probably gone up, so you're looking for £60 or £70 million and bringing in a product who may have not played in the Premier League, doesn't know Old Trafford, and might just find he's got teething problems like Alexis Sanchez. So I think the Anthony Martial is a good deal. It's someone they know. When you've got a player that in the summer Jose Mourinho was keen to get out of the club, he'd had enough of Anthony Martial, he wanted to sell him, he was making that quite open, and then the club asked if Martial wanted a new deal. They offered him a new deal in October. Martial said no, and today he's saying yes to another 5 years. That shows you how things have changed within the space of 6 months, and you've got a player there who's saying, right, I want to give my prime years to Manchester United. He's talking about it being a family. He's saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his team have risen him to the next level, and he loves it at Manchester United. That's how quickly things have turned. So yeah, you know, they could have had a more ostentatious signing and a more ostentatious deadline day, but this is impressive work from Manchester United. And I guess the focus now shifts to some of their other more important players who they're also trying to get new deals for. The likes of David De Gea, potentially Ashley Young, Antonio Valencia, and David De Gea as well. And all these players, and Juan Mata, of course, are in a similar sort of position that Manchester United now have got to decide who's next in terms of a manager and whether these players merit new deals or not. And interestingly enough, on a day when they're celebrating Anthony Martial, perhaps backing up this new direction that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has re-established at Manchester United, they're also saying goodbye to Marouane Fellaini. I think in the next 24 or 48 hours, his signing in China will be sealed. Only personal terms standing between him and a new deal there. And I think after 5.5 years here at Manchester United, I'm afraid few Manchester United fans will be sad to see him go. Not entirely fair on him either. Some important moments in a Manchester United shirt, but I think that is over. A new direction is re-established, and Anthony Martial voting with his feet and a fee to stay at Manchester United. Big day for United in Old Trafford.
James Cooper, thank you very much indeed.
Very cold there. Nice that we're warm here. Alex, I'll start with you. How much is this down to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, do you feel?
Oh, I think he already came out and said it, and the difference between Mourinho when a player's so unhappy and then the new manager comes in and gives you confidence and that enjoyment going into training every single day. And he started 5 times since Ole's been in charge. He's scoring goals, and you can see he fits that style of play, that attacking energy is fast, starting on the front foot, and Martial is a big part of that United team going forward for sure.
And how important is it? You know, James mentioned the other players that haven't tied themselves to them for their future. Can Ole Gunnar Solskjaer do that, do you feel? Do you think he can get them over the line? Not necessarily now, but maybe in the summer?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I think the big one's De Gea. I mean, talk about probably the best goalkeeper in world football. And there is that Madrid, Barcelona factor hanging over it. But if they can tie him down, I think that's the most important, because for me, arguably, he's the best goalkeeper in the world. But I just feel like it's a completely different Manchester United side that was a couple of months ago. I mean, they've won 8 in a row, drew another one, 9 unbeaten. All their big players are coming out to play now. Pogba looks like the player that we saw in the World Cup. Do you know what I mean? Fantastic, one of the best players in the world. So, for me, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's come in there, brought that freshness to the football club, the confidence back. Everyone's enjoying it. They're all smiling, and that's it's a completely different feel to when Mourinho was in charge, which is a shame because I mean, Jose Mourinho, one of the greatest managers in this country. It's just strange how it can go from one extreme to the other. How a team that's struggling can't get nowhere near the top 4, all of a sudden go 8 games straight winning games. It's incredible.
And there've been no incomings, Alex, but I suppose as they still make up their mind on the manager, Ole's obviously doing a good job. Is this the sensible way forward for Manchester United? It's about keeping players rather than bringing new people in.
Yeah, because when you look at that squad and those players, you've got a core group of players that are young, very talented. You've got Rashford, the Pogba's in there, and you've actually got players that he's rejuvenating in the likes of Sanchez, who we didn't hardly even talk about under Mourinho. It was, oh, it's not going to work out. Even he's managing to work with him, maybe not starting him all the time, but having a part to play to come on and impact, and this is Sanchez. So I look at that Man United squad at the moment. You don't need to bring in players and change that dynamic, because what he's doing at the moment is good, and I think everyone in that top 4 are looking behind their shoulders thinking, actually, this United team can break into that top 4.
Right, listen, I'm having a lovely time. I'm just going to leave you for a couple of minutes. We've got to go over here to the poll that we just launched a few moments ago on Twitter. I hope you've got involved, asking whether that new long-term deal for Anthony Martial actually is better business for Manchester United than going out there and bringing in a new signing. Let's show you what you said. There's only been a few minutes open, this poll, and, well, actually, yeah, 73% of you. We've had thousands of people getting involved in this short time. 11,000 of you in about 5 minutes. Thank you very much. 73%, so nearly 3/4 of you saying, actually, yes, this is a really good bit of business for Manchester United. Better business than taking a risk on bringing in someone from outside. Let's just show you as well what Martial has had to say on social media. Hopefully we can bring this up on Instagram. There we are. This is after that contract was signed. A short time ago, we put him signing his contract with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer onto Instagram, and this is what he said. Man of few words, 5 years. Inside, I'm sure he's absolutely bursting with joy.
Yeah, you'd like to think, wouldn't you? Now, of course, the window has closed in Germany. Callum Hudson-Odoi won't be moving to Bayern Munich. Let's go live to Uli Köhler, as you can see there, who's at the Bayern training ground. So, Uli, disappointment then, I guess, for Bayern. Were there any other big deals, though, today?
No, even Anthony Martial didn't show up here because he was in discussion about half a year ago when I just heard that he extended his contract. Yeah, but Bayern, under Mourinho, it was a little problem with Anthony Martial, but Bayern didn't want to have him then here. So you are very lucky to have Anthony Martial with Manchester United. Bayern is very unlucky not to have Callum Hudson-Odoi. It was a kind of wild transfer talks here, because it seems to be easy, because Callum wanted to play here in Munich, and Chelsea was had an agreement. They achieved an agreement with Bayern, and I think it was around £35 million. And at the end, they want to keep him. But now I think it can change a lot, because Maurizio Sarri did a lot of wild things, I would say. First saying that Callum is one of his guys, then he was not even in the squad. I think now he's happy not having been in the squad against in the last game on the weekend.
Uli, look, just before you go, for those that have just joined us, do show us your yellow socks again, because we love that moment. You've still got them on.
No, no, really again. You want to have it?
Yes,
okay.
of course.
Come on, we want to have the yellow socks. I have to tap my cameraman. Here we go. Oh, come on. I put it up here.
at that.
Oops.
Oh,
Everything is
they go-
falling
oh.
apart, but you see, there is the yellow sock. But I cannot hear you anymore because the phone went down.
Oh, Uli, I'm so sorry about that. You are absolutely brilliant and priceless. We love you. OK, so Darmstadt is here. Bayern miss out on their target. Is that the end of the saga?
Oh, brace yourselves for another saga involving Callum Hudson-Odoi in the summer. Now, when Bayern made their interest public, Chelsea, they went on the offensive, didn't they? Sarri said he was as important as Willian. He said he was as important as Pedro. He says he was the future of the football club. Not important enough for him to start a Premier League game. Take last night, for example. He travelled down to Bournemouth for that game that they lost 4-0. He didn't even make the bench, let alone the starting 11. He's got 18 months now left on his contract at Chelsea. And as it stands, his preference is to join Bayern Munich. You'd have to say at some point. It's not going to happen in this window. You would think, though, that Chelsea would use the next 5 months to try and convince Callum Hudson-Odoi that Stamford Bridge is the place for him. How would they do that? Well, start him in the Premier League would be a start, and perhaps an even bigger contract, or even a combination of both. Otherwise, you'd think all is in place for a summer move. Frank Ribery, Ian Robben, both out of contract at Bayern Munich conveniently in the summer. Callum Hudson-Odoi has got 12 months left, a dangerous time if you're a club with a player who's only got 12 months left of his contract. There are 3 options as I see it. Callum Hudson-Odoi stays at Chelsea and he signs a new contract. He goes to Bayern Munich in the summer, or the third option, which I don't think Chelsea dare contemplate, he stays for the remainder of his contract and then he can be a free agent and leave for free next summer.
But it's like Alex was saying, they want to play these young players. Darmish, thanks for now.
Right, less than 5.5 hours to go now in this transfer window. Thank you, Darmish. Is Peter Crouch about to become a... He's doing this. Is Peter Crouch about to become a Premier League striker once again? Back to Burnley in just a minute.
Shot you down, bang, bang. You hit the ground, bang, bang. That awful sound, bang, bang. I used to shoot you down.
Wasps are your Vitality Netball Super League champions.
Britain's got a new golfing star, Georgia Hall, major champion.
Music played and people sang. Just for me, the church bells rang.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Katie Taylor!
Bang, bang. He shot me down, bang, bang. I hit the ground, bang, bang. That awful sound, bang, bang. My baby shot me down. Shot me down. Shot me down, 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 down. Bang, bang, I shot you down, bang, bang. You hit the ground, bang, bang. That awful sound, bang, bang. I used to shoot you down.
Wasps are your Vitality Netball Super League champions.
Britain's got a new golfing star, Georgia Hall, major champion.
Music played and people sang. Just for me, the church bells rang.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Katie Taylor!
Bang, bang, he shot me down, bang, bang. I hit the ground, bang, bang. That awful sound, bang, bang. My
transfer deadline day. 11 o'clock deadline tonight. There's news from West Ham. Let's get there for the breaking news. It's a player leaving the club. Aidan McGee, hello.
Hello there. Yeah, should be confirmed just about now that Reece Oxford, a player who made his debut 3.5 years ago for West Ham and an opening day win at Arsenal, he's going to Augsburg on loan until the end of the season. He's made just 8 appearances since that thrilling debut at Arsenal back in August 2015. He's had 2 spells on loan at Borussia Mönchengladbach, also one at Reading, but hasn't really distinguished himself. Still young enough to make an impression, though, and I'm told that as for West Ham, that could be all the business we see now until the end of the window this evening. In terms of reporters, it's 1 in, 1 out. Craig Slater is off home, back to West London. As soon as he's finished his pizza, you're stuck with Aidan McGee until midnight tonight.
Thank you very much indeed, Aidan. Right, let's get to more breaking news for you. Straight to Burnley, though. We've been talking about a possible new striker there. Peter Crouch, Che Adams linked, Alan Myers is at Turf Moor. Good evening, Alan. You have some news for us.
Yes, I do, and I can tell you that we've talked about Che Adams since very early this morning and Burnley's pursuit of the Birmingham striker. I can tell you they've just had a 4th bid turned down by Birmingham City. We believe in excess of 12 million. So they're not giving up on it, and the tenacity is to be applauded, I guess. But Birmingham City staying resolute and saying that they don't want to sell Che Adams. So we'll see how that one progresses over the next few hours. In the meantime, I can tell you that Peter Crouch has arrived here in Lancashire at the -4 training ground here in Burnley. So he's gone down there to talk with Sean Dyche. Remember, we heard from the Burnley manager a little bit earlier about Peter Crouch and bringing him in, and he told us why he's made that move.
I've known Crouchy down the years, seen him play, always admired the fact that he knows what he is. He's never really bothered with other people's opinions on himself other than getting on with the game. And I think that's important. You know, I've never been worried too much about people's age. You know, we had Michael Duff, a fantastic servant to this club, and also for myself in the Premier League at 37. So that's not an issue. I know about his fitness. I know about his distance covered. And I think there's an intent and a desire to still make a mark on football. You know, over time he'll come to a decision when that's due. But at this moment in time, I think he's got a hunger to come here and make a mark.
Well, I can tell you, Sean Dyche, he's 38. It was his birthday yesterday. I'm sure they'll have a drink on that in the training ground tea, of course. But the person going the other way is Sam Vokes, of course. It's a business part of the deal that we believe around 7 to 10 million, somewhere in that region, that Burnley will receive from Stoke City. So I think Sean Dyche was quite disappointed to see Sam Vokes go, but understands the situation that he wants to play football. And as you heard there, he's quite happy to have Peter Crouch, someone who he played against. But will Peter Crouch be joined today by Che Adams? We'll wait and see on that one. Remember, the 4th bid turned down by Birmingham City for Che Adams.
OK, Alan Myers, thanks very much indeed. So plenty of news brewing then at Burnley this evening. Let's start with you, Darren and Alex, with us until 7 this evening. Darren, you'd have played in the Championship last season against Che Adams. 4 bids now from Burnley, apparently, for him. £12 million. That one's been knocked back as well. What can you tell us about him?
It's good. I mean, this season he's been fantastic for Birmingham. I mean, of recently he's been scoring some really good goals, real good technical goals as well, and that's what it looks like to me he's worked on. I mean, you can see he's a strong boy, his movements are getting better, and as I said, his finishing this season, last few goals have shown that he's been working on that. I mean, really intelligent finishing. So for me, he's going to bring, if he goes to Birmingham, his strength, he's young obviously, energy, and it's a gamble, but it's a gamble that I think will pay off.
I mean, you can understand Birmingham not wanting to lose him, but Alex, when you're talking sort of £12 million for a Championship striker being knocked back, it just shows where the market is at the moment.
It does, but I suppose like what you were touching on, when you've got a talented player, you don't want to let him go. Sometimes that money, because he's doing such an important job, it's like, OK, £12 million, actually we can try and hold on to him here.
And if you get to the playoffs and have a chance to get into the Premier League, you'll get that back
money
quite quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens with Che Adams, but a couple of clubs interested. Burnley, as you heard from Alan, they're trying really hard to prize him away, but our understanding is a 4th bid of £12 million has been turned down. Alan is on the case anymore. You'll hear it from him.
If I do that, what does that mean? It means Peter Crouch. Just tell us what Burnley are going to get if they get him.
Well, I think everyone knows what they're going to get. I mean, he looks like he's going to fit into the way they play. I mean, he's experienced, scores goals. And it's been the same from Crouch since he was a young boy. I mean, obviously, he's probably still the same height. But as I said, all they're going to do is he's going to go in there, show experience, score goals, maybe talk to one or two of the younger lads, help them along the way. Obviously, Sean Dyche knows him really well. And I think it'll be a key addition. I mean, I'm not sure how much he's going to play, but knowing Crouchy, he's going to play some role in Burnley this season and do something special that helps them avoid relegation or score a goal in a big game.
Here's a stat, 108 Premier League goals, 2 more than that man alongside you, apparently, for Crouchy.
If he's younger, you're younger.
All right, then. But he brings with it some real experience as well. Not just, OK, on the field. We say it a lot, but in the dressing room.
And I think that's the key thing. You've got a player coming in who you know is not going to change the dynamic. If anything, he's going to make it better. His personality, his application in training, and knowing his role, what he's going to play. He's not a player that's going to be coming in demanding that he's starting, and if he's not starting, disrupt the group. He's a player that knows he can influence other players in different ways around him as well, and actually add goals to Burnley, which they need, because they're sitting just above the relegation zone with 23 points.
OK, thanks for now. Look, it's not just deadline day in the Premier League. I'm off now. It's the close of the window happens in Europe as well. Now, in Italy, it closes at 7 o'clock, so that's not long. So, as you can see there, Valentina Fass is poised to speak to us. Hello, Valentina. You're in Milan. Oh, can you hear us, Valentina? I'm not sure she can. Hello there. No, I don't think she can hear us. Can you hear us, Valentina? Yes? Oh, yes, you can. OK. Deadline day, very different in Italy then. You're at the Hotel Da Vinci. What's going on behind you? I can see lots happening there.
Yes, I can. I can. Hello. I can hear you. Yes, of course. I can hear you.
I think we're having problems here speaking to you. I'm going to try one more time. Look, you're in a hotel at the moment. It's very noisy.
In front of me, everybody wants to get a shot of this door and that countdown, which will soon become a countdown. Now it just tells the time, because at 8 p.m. local time, which is 7 p.m. your time, that door will close and all contracts need to be defended.
OK, we're going to leave Valentina from there because it's just a little bit hard to speak to her at the moment. Let's now go to Leicester, though. Kirsty Edwards is waiting in the cold there, no doubt, to speak to us there. So Leicester, Kirsty, have a very big history of leaving deals until the very last minute. Yuri Tillemont has been at the training ground today, but have they got the deal signed off? Bring us up to date on that one, Kirsty.
We are still waiting. Yeah, Leicester City fans having to be patient today, but I can say that it has looked positive throughout the day. There has been progress. As you say, he spent the morning at the training ground completing his medical. He was there for much of the day. Then at about 4 o'clock, we saw him arriving here at the King Power Stadium. Spent an hour, roughly an hour in there, having a look around at possibly his new surroundings, and then we filmed him leaving the stadium, walked out of reception, looked pretty pleased with himself. So all the signs are good on this deal. This is a 21-year-old Belgium international. He scored 5 goals from midfield this season in the league for Monaco, and Leicester City have been very keen on him, as have a number of other Premier League clubs. But this will be a swap deal as well. It will see Adrien Silva heading in the other direction. He completed his medical yesterday, so it looks like this is a deal that's all but confirmed. We are still waiting. I'm hoping it doesn't last quite so long as the 11 o'clock deadline. And we're still waiting for some news on Andy King as well. He's a possible departure today, but that's all been very quiet. But we will bring you the latest as soon and if this deal gets confirmed.
Brilliant, thanks Kirsty. Meanwhile, Fulham have let one of their problem players leave today, but will there be any arrivals? Let's go live up here to Jamie Weir. As if by magic, he does appear, and get the latest there. Jamie, good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening to you, Vicky. We hope so. Fulham are confident that they will get one deal over the line. There were 3 defenders they were potentially looking at. Michael Ngaju, the Cameroon captain from Slavia Prague, was one of them. Yusuf Sabali, a Bordeaux right-back, was another. I understand now that those 2 deals are highly unlikely. Not impossible, not completely off the table, but looking highly unlikely. One deal that's looking far more likely is that for Havard Nordtveit, the centre-half from Hoffenheim. West Ham fans may remember him from a couple of years back. He spent some time at West Ham, not the happiest experience in the Premier League, but that is the deal that Fulham are trying to get over the line to bolster their defensive options, and it could be one Norwegian in, one Norwegian out, because Stefan Johansson, we understand he could be leaving on loan for West Brom, and as you said yourself, yes, the other player that is confirmed as having left on a 6-month loan deal is Abu Kamara, that problem player, as you said. He's been involved in a couple of training ground bust-ups, so perhaps a player that Fulham are glad to get away for the time being. And can I just finish, guys, by saying a massive thank you to Fulham, because today is my birthday. You may spot from underneath my coat a black and white scarf peeking out. That is a Fulham scarf, which was presented to me a short while ago, as well as this delicious-looking chocolate cake here. Happy birthday chocolate cake as well, which me and my cameraman Mark are looking forward to tucking into over a cup of tea as well. So really lovely gesture from Fulham, much appreciated. So Fulham fans, yes, 2 confirmed arrivals so far, a scarf and a cake, and hopefully I'll have one more arrival for you a little bit later on in the shape of Havard and Nordtveit.
Brilliant. Well done, Fulham, and happy birthday.
How nice of Fulham, because we all forgot here. Happy birthday, Jamie. Now it's deadline day. Who doesn't love a quiz on deadline? Pose a question. You're up for this, aren't you, Alex? Darren, yeah. Here's the question for you. It is, the first January window was in 2003, 16 years ago, but how much was spent by Premier League clubs? These are the 4 options. The answer is coming next.
Shot you down, bang, bang. You hit the ground, bang, bang. That awful sound, bang, bang. I used to shoot you down.
Wasps are your Vitality Netball Super League champions.
Britain's got a new golfing star, Georgia Hall, major champion.
Music played and people sang. Just for me, the church bells rang.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Katie Taylor!
Bang, bang, he shot me down, bang, bang. I hit the ground, bang, bang. That awful sound, bang, bang. My baby shot me down. Oh, shot me down, 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 down. Bang, bang, I shot you down, bang, bang. You hit the ground, bang, bang. That awful sound, bang, bang. I used to shoot you down.
Wasps are your Vitality Netball Super League champions.
Britain's got a new golfing star, Georgia Hall, major champion.
Music played and people sang. Just for me, the church bells rang.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Katie Taylor!
Bang, bang, he shot me down, bang, bang. I hit the ground, bang, bang. That awful sound, bang, bang. My baby shot me down. Oh, shot me down, 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 down.
Now, before the break, we asked you how much was spent by Premier League clubs in the first January transfer window in 2003. Was it 14 million, 35 million, 98 million or 165 million pounds? And we can reveal that it was, Darren Brent. What was it?
35 million.
Well done. 35 million. He knew that, which is great. And the reason why we're showing Higginbotham there is because he moved in that window, but that deal for £35 million included Jonathan Woodgate's £9 million move to Newcastle from Leeds. And there you see him, looking very young indeed.
And Danny Higginbotham, who you saw there, also a mover back in 2003. Now let's see who's moving where in Scotland. Charles Patterson, as you can see, is with us. He's in Glasgow this evening. Round up everything that's going on for us, Charles. Good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening to you, Jules. Yeah, first of all, the move that is possibly going to happen, but at the moment is not, Scott McKenna from Aberdeen to Stoke. This morning, Stoke had a bid of around £5 million rejected for the Scotland centre half. There has been no new offer as it stands. Remember, McKenna was the subject of a £7 million bid from Aston Villa in the summer, but there has been no new offer made, despite reports elsewhere to the contrary. So we will see what happens in the coming hours. The big news at Celtic today is that the captain, Scott Brown, has signed a contract extension for tying him to the club until 2021. He had an offer on the table from Melbourne in the A-League in Australia, but he has now committed his future to Celtic. So that's good news for Celtic fans and for Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers has also moved out Lewis Morgan to Sunderland on loan, and they are looking at a fullback in terms of cover, Celtic. They have been linked with a number in this window. The latest is the Borussia Dortmund fullback Jeremy Toljan. Talks, we understand, are ongoing, but the player trained in Germany this morning. So time is running out whether they'll be able to do that. Now, Rangers have confirmed Jordan Rossiter has gone on loan to Bury until the end of the season. Stephen Gerrard talked about that a couple of days ago. He said, Gerrard, there's going to be no more incomings. They've got 2 pre-contracts agreed with Jordan Jones of Kilmarnock. He's not going anywhere, according to Steve Clarke. And Glenn Kamara of Dundee. There is possibly a chance, from what I'm hearing, that might happen before tonight and that Kamara could come this month, but we'll wait and see on that. Kilmarnock have just announced in the last few minutes that they've signed striker Liam Miller on loan from Liverpool until the end of the season. Remember, they lost Greg Stewart to Aberdeen. And the big news, I guess, in terms of managerial context up here today, Hamilton have confirmed a replacement for Martin Canning. It is Brian Rice. He is their new head coach. He moves from St Mirren, so that's a deadline day deal of a difference, and he will take over as part of a new coaching structure at Hamilton Accies. And they've also got David McMillan in on loan from St Johnstone. And one final one for you. Hibernian are trying to get Mark McNulty from Reading, but that deal, as we understand it, is still up in the air.
Charles, thanks very much indeed. Let's head from Scotland to South Wales. We know it's been a really difficult month for Cardiff City, but of course they're trying to stay in the Premier League and they have completed a deal today. There could be more too. Michelle Owen is there. Good evening, Michelle. What can you tell us?
Yeah, good evening, Jules, from a snowy Cardiff. Well, Leandro Bacuna has been confirmed as a Cardiff City player this afternoon. The club confirmed that at 4:30. He's signed until 2023. It was an undisclosed fee, but we believe it's around £3 million. And he's a versatile player. A priority for Warnock this window was getting a fullback. He can play fullback, he can play midfield, so he'll add something to the squad in that respect. Of course, there was the tragic circumstances with Emiliano Sala, who disappeared on the flight, and we are hearing that Cardiff City probably aren't doing any more business. From what I've heard from my sources, it's looking unlikely they're going to bring anyone else in. Jack Mackay will be going to Chesterfield on loan until the end of the season, but of course there's still a few hours left in the window, so we'll keep an eye on it.
Michelle, thanks very much indeed. Yeah, time still for Wolves maybe to do some more business. They have been busy already. Rob Dorsett's there this evening. What can you tell us, Rob?
Julian, they haven't given up. They'd still very much like to get a striker in if they possibly could, but Nuno Espirito Santo has made it clear he's happy with the squad he's got if they can't get somebody over the line. Of course, it was 8 hours ago now when they made a big money move, one of the biggest of the day, confirming Johnny Otto. £18 million, his confirmed move from Atletico Madrid. Of course, he's been on loan here, so it hasn't made perhaps the headlines it deserves, but it's only just shy of Wolves' transfer record, that one. They were also after the man known as the Iranian Messi in his homeland, Sada Azmoun, who's currently at Rubin Kazan. Wolves thought they had a deal to bring him on loan and then possibly have a permanent transfer in the summer. But Kazan said, no, it's an obligation to buy in the summer that we want. And Wolves said, well, hang on, this is a bit of a risk for us. He's never played in the Premier League before. We can't get him over in time for a medical. So they've walked away from that deal. One outgoing as well, Leo Bonatini has joined Nottingham Forest on loan for the rest of this season. He hasn't made a single Premier League start under Nuno Espirito Santo this season in the Premier League.
Rob, thank you very much. We heard the wind howling around Molineux there, freezing cold nights. So fair play to the likes of Rob and all our reporters out there braving the elements. Lovely and warm in it. Almost too warm.
It is a little bit too hot.
Roasted in there.
Well, let's start with Wolves then. How impressive are they? You know, they're 7th in the table at the moment, and then getting Otto on a permanent deal. That's impressive work, isn't it?
Really impressive, and to be fair, I'd have, like a few of my friends, I said I thought Wolves would finish a lot higher in the table, near the bottom, just because how impressed I was with them last season. I mean, they stormed the Championship. It was too easy for them at stages last season, and this season, just with the manager and the connections they've got with the super agents and the players they brought in. I mean, last season, they had players playing in their squad that were Premier League players, really, playing in the Championship. And this season, they've taken it on, and I fully expect them to be somewhere near the top 7. And to get, as you said, Otto over the line is a massive achievement for Wolves and shows the direction the club's going in.
And it actually proves that the loan system can work, Alex. To sort of try before you buy. You get a look at them, and if all goes well, you tie them down.
That's what we're hoping Arsenal are doing, right? No, but it does.
Shoehorn Arsenal in again.
It is. You get them in. Do they fit your philosophy, your style of play? How do they connect with the other players around them? And then if they do, then yeah, absolutely, you keep them at the club. Funnily
enough, you mentioned Arsenal there, Alex, because Denis Suarez, we've talked about him. He is now, a loan player. He's in at Arsenal from Barcelona, and we are hoping, this will please Alex, to hear from him in the next hour. Alex and Darren Bent staying with us after 6.